Welcome to episode 3 of the Dark Knights of the Weird Table. First off, we want to apologize for the hiatus. Life happens. Today's subject on the Weird Table is horror. What makes good horror games? You know, horror in general. We're on the topic of Halloween. It's October. You know the deal. So, who's first?
Well, I gotta start. I fucking started last time, you bastards.
All right. All right. What makes a good horror game?
Jump scares.
No.
No.
For me, it's the setup, the build-up, the atmosphere, the creepiness. Creepy sticks with you. Jump scare scares you right there at the moment. But, I mean, think about it. When you think about Saw, you don't think about the story. You don't think about what jump scares it did have. You think about the traps. You know, when you think about Five Nights at Freddy's, that's when you think about the jump scares. But now with Five Nights at Freddy's, a lot of people are trying to find the story and the atmosphere, and especially Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
What was it? Whistleblower. Outlast Whistleblower. Oh my God, the freaking atmosphere of that, you just had that. Creepy. And then next thing you know, bam, you're getting attacked.
So basically what you're saying is the immersion.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Okay, I agree with that.
For horror games, the best way to play them would probably be wearing headphones, in other words. You know, now I'm an avid regular gamer. You know, I've played horror games and everything, but I've never really found any horror games scary. So this topic is a little oddball for me, but I do gotta say, I do agree with one thing. It does get my heart beating. You know, that I will admit. But I've never screamed at a video game. I've never jumped back away from the screen going, no.
No, that
But
was me.
I can say,
Bullshit.
headphones.
I said that was me.
Yeah, that was him.
I was about to say.
I said
but-
that was me.
What I can say is the immersion aspect of it. You know, you have to wear headphones. You have to be in a dark room or at least low light. You know, you have to put yourself in that position to even get, for me anyways, my heart beating. But jump scares do work as long as there's build-up.
Yeah.
Like
Noises.
Five Nights at Freddy's. You have when Foxy's running down the hall, you hear of him running, and you're like, shit, which side, you know, check the cameras and shit.
And
You know, there's, what was it? SPC.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Honestly, I haven't played that yet.
Well,
that was a pretty good one. Because they added one aspect to it you don't see in games. They added a blinking aspect.
I did see that. I did watch
Where
Markiplier play.
There's a timer on it.
Yeah.
And your eyes will automatically close. Or you can force them. You can force yourself to blink if you're afraid of what's going on. And it's, you know, of course, it kind of took away from Doctor Who with the whole weeping angels thing. You close your eyes, they move. But it also had another aspect to it. It wasn't just the creepy guy when you closed your eyes, he moved. There was him. There was a whole background story that a lot of people didn't realize this, except for Markiplier, that I watched anyways. You know, I haven't searched all the YouTube videos on it, but Markiplier went in depth with it. He searched out these things and searched for the story itself.
For me, man, I watched Markiplier. I think I watched like one episode of the SCP thing. Now, what caught my attention though was the fact I actually read the SCPs. There's a great app out there. If you Google creepypasta on the Android store, it's like the first one to pop up. It has great creepypastas, and right there it has all the SCPs just listed out. There's millions of them, and I think that was the one thing that caught my attention in the game was they actually took the SCPs and did their best to bring it to life. Yeah. And that's another thing is with creepypastas, they're great.
Now, for those of you who are listening to our podcast, you know, you might notice one thing, something weird in the recording and whatnot. Until we can get better funding and whatnot for our podcast, we're going to have to record vocals only. But if you could see what's around us and just the weather and everything that's going on, this topic is peak for tonight. Just saying, you know, the wind's blowing, it's howling, it's getting kind of creepy.
It's already freaking me out. I mean, seriously, I really don't like it that
Oh,
way.
you're just scared of everything.
Yeah,
I'm not scared of everything, okay? Just most things.
Slender Man.
The only
Shut up.
the only thing we're missing is the Silent Hill fog. which
Oh.
Florida is known for, so we just gotta wait. You know?
No.
But that's back on to the actual topic here.
Yeah, shut
When
up,
it
I'm
comes
gone.
to, I do agree with immersion is extremely important because you can just throw in a jump scare, they do work, but they wear off.
Especially on Brian.
However,
You know
when
what?
it comes,
Stop bringing
if you
up
can
jump scares.
immerse someone into a game, it's gonna come to the point where where's the jump scare? Where's the jump scare? Where's the jump scare? No jump scare. Okay, I guess it's jump scare. I like it. I like it when they build in that false sense of security. Dead Space did it great. You get like the first hour of the game is just exploring, finding shit out, and figuring out how to work, and then shit goes to hell.
Silent Hill is one of the games that ruined it for me, though.
But one.
Shit, you would ask. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly which Silent Hill
Because
was.
1 and 2 are
But-
God.
But no. It didn't. It wasn't like it ruined horror games for me. But it did ruin horror games for me. It was a great game. It was a great horror game. Don't get me wrong. But it ruined it for me on the aspect of now I check fucking everything. There is not very much in games that jump scares me because I'm prepared for it because of Silent Hill. The nurses laying on the ground that look like they're dead. It's like, okay, it's dead. Walk by and it fucking gets you. Now I'm prepared for that shit. If I walk by and, for instance, Dying Light, I shot the dead bodies just to make sure. I was not taking chances.
Zombie, you did too.
Well, yeah, in Zombie, the Zombie U game that came out on regular consoles. Not just the weird Nintendo console. Sorry, Damien.
There's nothing wrong. It is a beautiful console, and if you have not played it, you are losing out because they did a great job with integrating the gamepad into things.
For normal, avid gamers, and the reason why I say normal is it's a broad range, like a casting net. It's just broad. It captures more than just people who play specifically Nintendo.
Or specifically
For
PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah. But for normal gamers, my point being is, Zombie was probably one of the better games I have seen that came out for Nintendo, specifically, or at least at first, because of the immersion factor, because of the difficulty factor. Normally when you see Nintendo games, you think happy, fun games that have some kind of dark aspect to them, and
Except
if you read
Metroid.
into them, Metroid has some dark aspects to it too. If
And
you
Metroid's
read
just
into
a dark
them.
game, though, for
But-
a Nintendo franchised game.
Yeah, but it's not just Nintendo franchise, though, if you think about it. Yes, it's mostly for Nintendo, but the way they have it, they're backed by several other companies.
Yeah.
But when you think of Nintendo, 9 times out of 10, you think of what? Mario.
Or Zelda.
No, 9 times out of 10, you think of Mario.
Some weird people think of Kirby.
Well, that's my point, though. It's
Yeah,
happy, it's
9
fun.
times
That's
out
the
of
thing, it's
10.
like, but it doesn't matter what console you look at. When you bring up a console, everyone thinks of one specific game. PlayStation, God of War. PC, Minecraft. Xbox, Halo,
True.
And it's sad, but back to horror.
But one thing I think of, though, when it comes to that is, Zombie was a pretty good horror game, though, too, at the same time. Because they did get you with some jump scares.
Yeah.
Or at least some, oh shit.
Fucking hordes,
And
man.
it's just, Zombie was just or Zombie U, as I'm going to call it, because that's what I know it as. But Zombie U, the problem with it was it wasn't a proper launch title for the Wii U. We're missing the Zelda game. Because everybody knows Zelda games move consoles. Yes, they release Smash Brothers, but there's a lot of people out there that don't care for fighting games. Even though Smash Brothers is a great game, but that's not what they want. Zelda games move consoles. Metroid games move consoles. And Nintendo needs to get their head out of their ass.
God of War games, move console.
Well, I think isn't God of War over?
Yeah.
No, there's not. They are making new God of War games and remastering everything.
But we're off topic and back to horror.
Yeah.
Silent Hill ruined it for you, which is sad because Silent Hill's what actually got me into games.
No. I would. It didn't.
Well, it prepared you.
It ruined the horror genre for me. I don't get scared from them so much anymore. We went to Halloween Horror Nights
Lucky
recently
bastards.
over in Orlando, and it was great. But me and Billy were laughing through all the haunted houses and all the horror haunts and everything. Because we weren't scared. We didn't get scared. We didn't jump. We didn't freak out. There was only one time I ever freaked out, and it's when I couldn't find the fucking line anymore because the damn strobe lights blinded my ass. And I was like, which fucking door do I go through?
Hopefully this is the right one.
And I wasn't scared. I was just like, a lost
I'm
kid
lost.
for a second there. I'm like, oh shit, where do I go?
Mommy.
So that's what I mean by Silent Hill ruined it for me. I don't mean games. I still play horror games. I tried the new Resident Evil game. Fucking sucks. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but it sucks.
But like I said,
it came completely away from Resident Evil.
For me, when it comes to Resident Evil, you have to play the remakes. Yes, if you love great B movies, you've got to play the original ones because you can't just skip over lines like you almost became a Jill sandwich, especially when there's a very clearly no directing behind it. Because it's great. It's great fun. It's funny to watch. And it's a great horror game to play. But play the remakes.
And with that, you also got to think back when the first Resident Evil came out. If you're talking about B-movie horror type, Resident Eve or whatever it was a knockoff of Resident Evil. It was freaky at some points. I think it was for the PS1, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There was a witch named Eve, and she fucked with you all the time. And it was a horror game. It was as crazy as Resident Evil 1 was, and it had stupid, silly lines. But I don't think it might comment if I'm wrong, but I think they only made one. If you know about it anyways.
Well, like I was saying back, Resident Evil. If you want to play a new Resident Evil game, they've finally released it across all consoles, but it started as a Nintendo 3DS, which a lot of people were blown away by because it came with outstanding graphics and it really showed what the 3DS can do, and that's Resident Evil Revelations. Screw you, I talk with my hands, fucker.
Though you can't see it.
Yeah, but that's the thing is with Resident Evil Revelations, they were able to keep the moving around and like the action side of Resident Evil, but they brought back the tight quarters, and what made everybody so happy about the original Resident Evil games was the tight quarters and the cramped spaces and the oh shit, you don't know what's next kind of thing, And that's why I recommend at least the first one. It's out on all consoles, there's no excuse not to play it.
Unless you're just like Brian and scared shitless.
Yeah.
But well,
hey.
the new Resident Evil game that just came out, everybody knows about Redbox. I hope I'm not breaking any copyrights there. No, what is Redbox? Anyways. So I went over there and I checked it out, But it really, really hit me with a wrong chord. It was very similar to, I think, 5. Mm-hmm. 5 was the one where you're that guy with the president's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very similar to that. It was a dual survival. You could switch between characters, which was better, and I thought it was going to get pretty good. But the zombies, quote unquote, in that game were nothing compared to the T-virus zombies. They were creepy, but they just did not have that aspect. They did not do what the Resident Evil games started as. I remember, God, I cannot remember which Resident Evil it is, but it's the one where you get to pick a character.
I think you can do that with the second one. You can you can do it for the first two. You can pick on between the chick and the guy. The chick's the easy mode. And then the next one you can pick on, I believe, Leon and Claire, and they each have their own stories to it.
Then it might have been 3, because there was like 4 to 5 characters. You could be Leon.
You can do that in 6. I know you can do that in 6.
You could be several of them, and you all start out at a bar. Each of them have the different first beginning. And,
I know what you're talking about, yeah. I can't remember the name of it, because I had it for PlayStation 2.
Yeah, because it was for PS2. That's how I played it. But it was a great fucking game. It was really great. It had the jump scares. It had the immersion factor to it, because you're following these individual people through their story. And depending on who you picked, depended on your team. Your team consisted of 2 or 3 of the other characters. And depending on what you did, also changed the atmosphere. It was almost an RPG version of Resident Evil, to be honest with you. The only difference was, you couldn't level up. You couldn't do the regular RPG version things.
Which, a question for all of y'all. what do you guys think of the RPG Maker horror games? Markiplier's played quite a few of them. Yumi Nikki's one of them. And there's a couple other ones out there. If you haven't seen them, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them yet.
Well, Markiplier's played some, so obviously, go check that shit out. Cause, and honestly, it's like...
go check out Markiplier in general.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's like Brian.
When it comes down to it, man, RPG Maker's not something you'd think to make a horror game out of. But
I know you meant that as an insult, but
no.
He's nothing like Brian. Anyways.
Markiplier's hotter. But nobody can disagree with that one. I don't care.
I'm not gonna
if you're
fucking touch
comfortable
that
with
subject.
who you are.
I don't want to touch that subject. I don't want that subject to be
I
touched.
like him. He's cool. He's got hair similar to mine, except I guess mine would be more like, what's his name? Septic Guy or whatever.
But like I was saying, it's not something you'd think would make a good horror game out of. However, when it comes down to it, what they did it right. They gave you the correct immersion feel. And I think that's what's important. They give you the immersion and the and they, you understand what they're coming from, and they can scare the shit out of you the first time you play through and you don't know what's going on. And if you haven't played, Yumi Nikki is weird. It's like the fucking Dream emulator for the Sega CD, which if you haven't seen videos for that, you want to talk about weird? Yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of shit out there, man.
Yeah, I've seen Sega CD.
Yeah.
No, I would never play that game.
But that also brings up the fact, creepypastas, man. What do you enjoy about them, and would you ever, if you can write, because I can't, would you ever write your own just to see how it is,
I probably would give it a shot. There's not very many creepypastas that I remember off the top of my head, the actual story anyways. Of course I know of
Slender Man.
Yeah, well, duh. Everybody knows about Slender Man. We already mentioned him earlier. But, there's Slender Man, there's Smiling Jack, there's, God, I forget his fucking name, but he looks like a scarecrow with a long pointy nose.
There's one everyone might know of, and that's called Polybius. If you watch Simpsons, you can see a Polybius cabinet. And just a basic gist is the government came out, released a arcade cabinet back when, that was a thing. And people were playing it, but it was getting so bad that people were lining up, fighting, beating the shit out of each other. But these people in black coats would show up and take data from the machine, and then poof, it disappeared. Nowhere to be seen. But it hit, it's one of the very first creepypastas out there. And then Ben Drowned, which is another very famous one.
Yeah, that's the one that I know the story best anyways, that I remember the best. That one kind of got me only because, it was a Legend of Zelda aspect, That was creepy and everything, but the video I watched killed the creepy factor. And that's only because you could clearly tell it was edited in there, it was created, it was not real footage of any kind. I think if he wanted to tell the story, he should have just told the story and maybe put a Zelda background or something like that in there. Or, hell, what we're trying to do eventually, which is recorded himself talking about it.
Well, I thought the videos were good. I enjoyed them, especially my first time watching it. It was because of Mullet Mike that I found out about it, which if you don't know who he is, he does a very awesome thing called Creepy Gaming, and it's where he just looks at creepy aspects in video games, especially in video games that aren't meant to be creepy, like Call of Duty and Sonic.
All right, we're not going to do a whole bunch of shout-outs.
But that's that, But then there's Mario.exe, which is a fairly new one, which is actually pretty creepy, the first time you come down to it. Brian's over here shaking his head. However, if you actually just read the story, it's actually fairly... They kind of overdo it with the blood and the gore and bullshit. But, at the bare bones, it's creepy. It's better than fucking Sonic.exe, that's for damn sure.
No, one video I think you should look up, definitely, if you're talking about creepypastas and videos, Mickey.exe. Now, that one is fucked up. I don't know if there's a story behind it or what, but it goes back to the black and white Mickey. You know, technically before Mickey Mouse. And he's walking along, doing the thing, you know, having fun, doing his little walking thing. And then he, it starts getting creepier. Things start changing. And blood starts going on. And it gets weird. You start hearing laughter in the background, and the creepy factor just slowly rises and builds. Stay. So, to continue on with our subject of gaming and what makes gaming good horror, or what makes good horror gaming, excuse me, I don't know where the hell that was going. I've been watching and keeping an update with Amnesia and the creators of Amnesia.
And Soma now.
Now, that's where I was going with it. Again, I'm sorry, you know, if you guys want to stop hearing shout-outs, please comment, let us know. But Markiplier, anyway? I've been watching him play games for a long time. I love watching him play games. He's one of the greatest YouTubers, in my personal opinion, that I've ever watched play games. Just because of his reactions and his choice making. It's not always the greatest, but it leads to some great endings. But the topic I want to get onto is Soma. I love it. This game, it tortures you mentally. This game, you have to think about the things that you're doing. It causes you to think about it.
Don't give away too much now. I haven't got to watch any gameplay or play the game yet.
I'm not going to.
Same here.
But it causes you to think. It causes you to question regular human morals. You know, what makes you human? You know, you take a look at things and you see things in a way that doesn't make sense. And now you'll hear Brian. I think this is probably the weirdest thing we've ever brought to the weird table. I had to pause the recording for a second, but that's great.
We're not laughing at Sean now. He was making a good point. But Brian was over here pissing me off, so I flicked the lighter at him, and apparently I caught his nose hair on fire. Boy, I can't wait until we start video, man. You're going to love this shit.
Anyway, so to close up, we're out of time, but we do have some more on this topic.
A lot more.
This is one of those topics that's got to span at least minimum 2 videos. So, without further ado, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment if you have anything you want us to talk about. Or if you have anything else, you know, you just want to put your input in on. We'd be great to hear from you.
I still can't change my voice.
You're weird. And stay weird.